Okay, so we are here again as usual. We've come to give you something good, something juicy, something and then we are talking about one issue that has become very problematic. And meaning say when I mention the title, you get to understand what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about parenting today, and we'll bring some interesting views. And today I'm happy to introduce to you my wonderful guests in the house. There is this saying that BBM ladies first. So I will go to the lady in the house, the one who brightens the set today, because Mama So today I have a wonderful guest in the person of Emma. Emma, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
So we are going to have the discussion with our dear sister Emma, and then the one and only teacher Ben. Teacher Ben, Akwaba.
Yes, that's it.
All right. So, and the topic for today, we are talking about parenting. So, parenting, you say, Kwarano, aya, omudi can free mema no honeba. Sana aba man no ne man krem na sana Kwarana banti. I'll take the opening shots from you, Uncle Ben. Parenting today.
Oze aya free.
Aya free mema no. Unze Kwarana de aya na mema no ye na. Nyame yadom ne ehye ya na ye de akoma ma no so mun keep na.
Kan hu no say e ma no so no mo de omo de ba.
So omo de omo de ba, but they no be a discussion for another day.
Okay, parenting. Enemremu parenting. Being in the children ministry and also having thoughts for some years now, not necessarily in the church related aspects, but also in actual schools. Like I've taught in the JHS, I've taught in the primary. So I've encountered a lot of them and have discussions with parents. You know, I've observed a lot of things, and by the grace of God, also discussed with prominent people who are into parenting and the likes. One woman in our church, Dickness Sophia Kafui.
Sophia Kafui.
Yeah, a big shout out to her.
Auntie Sophie, tomorrow we will come to your iPhone.
So I'm looking forward to having a great discussion on this, and hopefully to impact upcoming parents.
Upcoming parents like some of us, that very soon tomorrow we are going to give birth like 4, 7, 8, 24. You see, even the numbers, we come there. There is this prominent person in Ghana who just recently announced that he has welcomed his 6th child to the glory of God. And the way people were bombarding this man, that in Nando's government, you get mind go born 6. Like how? You come there. Auntie Emma, so what are your opening thoughts too on the topic?
Okay, so I think growing up and going to school, we are taught about parenting and parenthood. I mean, social studies. And then we understand that for parenthood, it starts the moment you give birth. But parenting is a state of mind. So as a sibling, you can parent, yes. As somebody who has not given birth, you can parent. So I think everybody is involved in the parenting process. Yes. So that's what
Everybody is involved in the parenting process, but also for Ben.
Yes, sir.
From the days of your mother, what do you think is different in our days when you talk about the issue of parenting? What is different?
So I'll just in simple terms say is that the issue of dependency. During our time, let me say my time because it's addressed to me. During my time, a lot of the things that I did were independent. Just a few that my parents came in, which I can't even. If I'm to weigh, I will say that I did more of 70% independently, 30% with the support of my parents. So that is basically what I've seen in
And
trending issues.
was that because your parents were not in your life when you were growing up, or they were there but then allowed you to be independent even at that young age?
Well, so if I'm to put a bit of my life out there, which I haven't, but through your platform, maybe, except probably my close friends. So I lived with my grandfather when I think I was 6 years. He had a transfer to Upper West Wa, and I followed him. That was, I think, in 99. And when I went there, he made me feel good. He's a man who will make you feel good, but he's a disciplinarian.
There is this saying that we are spoiled because those who lived with their grandparents.
Not my grandpa.
How?
This man, when you go and do something bad and he gets to know
you
it.
too, why will you go and do something bad?
Oh, say Hebrew Proverbs say Ozi jimie bata abofra kuma ho na ye de enfia ne sama no e na ye de betenetene no aha nti on de na no nyuso aba wo de ne nsa ti otimi ka se hey bra attention say police ni so o gina attention position na ono kasa unhu bebie na wo beti wan
no abo asu
hey
but that is child abuse.
Well, okay, to that extent, yes. So he was basically doing the extreme of it. I believe, maybe we'll get to that part. I believe in correcting children in love. I'll use myself for an example. When you come to my church, the children, but I'm very, very open to all of them. I can shout at a child, not shouting like to scare the child. Hey, you're any jai. Then the child will stop.
But it's also scaring the child. They are stopping out of the fear they have for you, but not because they have genuinely changed, but because Uncle Ben or Teacher Ben have said, "Hey, chai!"
There's this particular child. Na otai ha adwun sorry. Na or nanti pa. Na one day, sorry, na wakutrim o platform ho. Na wakutrim. Na one day my friend I'm catching say, if I catch you roaming about, I will kill you. Do you hear me?
But sir, say you will threat ni bi ohonoma a gentle threat.
Say me kaba.
Onkekam but boko.
Say me kaba.
Dangerous too.
Na onim, de me ye kan ho no, ene ma na ye fe. Nti no saa da no ojaye. So ojaye na I'm catching say, hey, today you've done well. I'm command high five. You didn't run across the platform, and it is very good. And osre. Until the following time I have a service, it was evening service, and the parents then they buy. 1 year sadie no. I'm say, hey, come here, me mboni din. Come here. Hey, today you've done well, me man high five. Sunday, I'm koye ni show. Inti na amane ni aje. Inti there was this time here akolebi ko train wo platform. No buy Uncle Ben, see this child. Just say, ono so ababe an advocate for what I am trying to do. So it depends on how it is done. And that is the thing that I am advocating for. That we shouldn't let go discipline, but we shouldn't be too extreme of it and be too shallow of it. Like it should be balanced. It should be rightly balanced.
It should be rightly balanced. Emma, in your point of view, what do you think has changed?
For me, I can't say a Gen Z.
Because
this Gen Z okay, let's
because
go.
if you come to my house, I grew up mostly living with just my mom.
Okay.
And when I say my mom, she's my grandma. My mommy actually passed on at a very early age.
Okay.
Yes, so she has been the only person I've been living with all my life. So if you know me, you know I talk about my mom a lot. And she is a no-nonsense woman.
Okay. So what do you mean by she's a no-nonsense woman?
For her, she's very business-minded. So her business comes first. So if even you want to go out or anything and you ask permission, she's like, if you have nothing doing for me, you can go. But you should know that you're going to have something doing from morning to evening.
So it's virtually like, sister, you are not going anywhere.
Exactly. And then I think one thing too that I didn't get growing up is the calm correction.
Okay.
I never had that. And then I feel like for Ghanaian parenting, sometimes they should explain the intention behind the correction.
Hey, you better boo no nim near why.
Simon, mami fa we ntwem. Mami bi wo ho. Obe pie no friend call hey, when you na mo bra. So when they came, he took the cane. Open your palm. Pew, pew, pew. Next one, pew, pew. Cane all of them. Say, man, I didn't know our boy. He said, I'm going out, but minim say mubedi boni. To me, boom,
But it's serious. But you see, talking about parenting, growing up in the village I grew up from, Nyamia domo de seja Krabraboni yeah.
But your village on your movie.
Yeah, now I grew from village, In the community, I would say we had a community mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That community mother, if you do something and your parents are not there, this one, I'm proud to mention her name, Mami. My wedding, you remember the woman who, during the engagement, woman na obeto no ma munia wari ni.
Yeah.
That woman, she was our community mother. So, we are the nya, Mami will call you. And if it is beatings, she will beat you. Proper. And then obu we are not what in chain. You be with her till your parents come. And when your parents come, she will hold your hands and take you to your parents and tell them that you did A, B, C, D, and she has punished you.
Version 2.0.
I tell you, but in this time, I don't see some of these things. What could be the problem? That's say at Twitter. Because I think that it helped some of us. Because there were some of the things we did. And Kaye parents, because they may not be around at that time. But then for some of these people who were able to correct us even in the absence of our parents. But as I say, what could be the reason for some of these changes? Let me come to you, Emma.
Okay, I think we can actually attribute it to say Enibiaba and then human rights. And then, do you know the mostly they are like how do I put it? But there is a situation where they feel like those outside overdo some of these things. Some people take advantage. We see people correcting other people's children without correcting theirs. So yes, growing up, I had this particular woman around. Once man bada. And so and then when she has something to the man or the bema. Do you understand? So some parents look at this cases and feel like and found son coming back. No send will be bo now side of command. No. No be a bo no we prano.
So some go to the extreme.
Okay. Exactly. Okay. So I think that's why these things. And then they say in there all kind of they say this is child abuse. Sir, because nowadays somebody is correcting a child and then actually it's child abuse. But at that point of anger, you may end up abusing the child.
So Uncle Ben, let me come to you. With this child abuse thing, is it really child abuse?
So when we come to discipline, discipline is a way of correcting someone. So Bible says that train up a child in the way he should go, so that when he grows, he will not depart from it. Why is Bible saying so? Because at a point in time in the life of the child, he will be dependent. So what will be the decision that child will be making when he or she grows?
When he or she is independent.
Is independent, yes. So what will be the outcome of that child? So the kind of way we treat our children is very key. So it's unfortunate that in our setting, some years back, the discipline was like, when the economy is hard, it affects everything about you. But sometimes if you afraid you move ban the boss said you no so into ope baby lay off sa angania into wakola no. The kind my grandfather born ma sumbi ma won akosombo so wo meni so.
You didn't understand.
Lights. This man, even as oya TikTok so, o chase hey menenu kofie nim runabouts. Nyame adomo no a chief inspector nti asa ye woya die na compound house. Ye trumika sa na mistakenly me ko choose wrong route be man for the way of Christ. When I'm confiding no corner me. Na me se corner ni hon opija ne sa boom na me ni saw light, that was all.
Na me no kwa na shake glasses.
The way they photochromic. Ebia sa light no we reducing me. One mama dim. Into ominya highlight. Into when he does that, unfortunately for his part, obu we no. Maybe when he slaps you, he just gives you a painkiller. Yes, that's what he was giving this. There was this popular painkiller, Panacin, not the amount. No, in say but it wasn't out of love. But personally, growing up, I've come to appreciate that when you discipline a child, it should be out of love, that the child will know the reason why. Even sometimes you can talk to the child first, then ask the child into the why ye menya and I know me could be sa kolebi. Me see into the ye menya den or say tokalipo mame. That is on a lighter note. Okay, no, I was no so they mean you. Then I let go. But thanks be to God, the child changed from that particular thing. And so it's about doing it in love. When you let the child understand, say na waye. Say yenyenisa. Intino de waye intino. Say na meyo. Then we will come to the types of punishment and saying modern punishment. Maybe as time goes on, we will come to that.
When you were talking about that, I remember I watched this video from this Nigerian comedian, Brain Jota. Video now. There was this parent. I saw a counselor. I don't know if he was a counselor or something.
Yeah.
Parents need to never buy. Kalani is stubborn, and he had tried to correct the child, but it's no bisa say. So when the child errs, what kind of punishment do you give to him? So I let him play PS, I think 3 instead of PS5. Okay. I say when he misbehave, I give him 2 chocolates instead of 4 or something.
I'll ground him.
I'll ground him. And he said, where do you guys? I said, in an air conditioning room for like 30 minutes. And he said, oh, okay. If that is the case, then I know where the problem is. So you leave this room and give us let me have a session with the child for 15 minutes so that when we are done, I'll call you, then you come in. And so when the woman left, we saw that he was removing his belt and the lights in the room went off. When he came back, the moment the woman entered, the child went to greet the mother, laid on the floor, like the child has changed.
Completely.
And the woman asked, what have you done to my child that he had changed? And he said, oh, it is the doing of the Lord. So I think sometimes to the parents of today, I don't know, but even the kind of punishments, the kind of things we have seen to be punishment today. How can you tell me that you are punishing me? And I remember when I was after SHS, I was working with one woman, and the kind of punishment she gives to her child, there is a chair, and then you ask you to go and sit on the chair. You will not stand up. And that is the punishment. So it is a kunyane wakakra nti opeja kosro kakra on your corner. Now I kotena so. Atena so be 5 minutes. Yakola ane to honuma no su. So nti onya ye bone so ya me do be kotena kunyane so. How can this change? Or maybe, probably.
It's because the child has been tagged that way.
Mhm.
You see, let me say, for the white, freedom means a lot to them. So when a child is grounded, he feels or she feels like a lot have been taken from him or her.
But
But in Ghana,
why are we trying to bring because the condition there that makes them because in Ghana you don't even have the freedom, but you have freedom right now that you be here now and another can take off a slide. You call this freedom. So I don't why are we trying to bring in the foreign kind of lifestyle? For example, Mimi Yokroboni, 100% Krobo, mother, father, ka Krobo pa. And in my house, you come and I'm speaking English with my children.
Question for the gods.
Or that's it. Probably, let me come to you, Uncle Ben. Is that the new normal?
Hey, Elder. Some way dear, ne can thing. But me, whenever I get a platform, I like to voice out on that. Parents who speak English with their children in the house should stop.
Why?
Because it's killing the language we have in our country.
Mm-hmm.
Go to homes right now, not the rural areas. Probably this place is quite okay, but come to Accra, Central. Go to homes of typical Ghanaians. Husband is talking to the wife in the local dialect. Wife is talking to husband in the local dialect. When it comes to the children, oh, please give. What do you mean?
And like, the case is that they will just the example you give. Kofi, let's cancel the road.
It's not. They were going and it was like a zebra crossing after school. The parent had come for the child. Then the woman saw that the parents saw that the road was free, so they can cross. But as she was going, she realized that the child was looking somewhere. Yeah. Say, hey, Kofi, come, let's cancel the road.
Cancel the road? Like how?
Like, how can you tell me this story? Like, a lot of errors. I've taught in the educational sector, like in schools. So I've heard a lot of them. Like, Brofun and Kuyi, they do transliteration. Throw some of the thing for me. Say, take it and throw it to me. Like,
I'm coming to go.
Obete, as dear no everything.
Abi, you know.
Abi, I didn't know. Like,
but could it also be a way of trying to, you see, even in our schools today, in some schools where you go and even on your free period, if you speak, I remember growing up in my school, what we did was that there was this chain that we did with snail shells.
Yeah.
So if you speak vernacular, then we put it on your neck. And then the whole of the day you'll be working with it.
Yeah.
So in order not for the children to be so conversant with the local dialect, then when we come to home, we have to speak English with them so that they will become comfortable expressing themselves in English.
Simon, this matter. The school is a place to be taught. And even the trained teachers cry. Now say your licensure exam. So who results?
Because me, I'm a trained teacher. I'm a teacher, so don't come and teach us.
Well, I am not a trained teacher, but I've taught some children who have done marvelously well in their academics to the glory of God. But even with the trained teachers, that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay. Even with the trained teachers, they have issues with grammatical error, especially when it comes to concord, have and has, when to apply them.
Yes.
And we have parents who are forcing themselves. And it's unfortunate that those parents, thanks be to God, the ones we have currently, that's what they brought from since the some few years back. But still, I'm of the view that in the home, speak your local dialect.
But you see, could this also be the reason? You see, in this dispensation, the children spend much of their time with their teachers in school than even with their parents. I'm using myself as an example. I don't have a child yet, but definitely one day I'll give birth. I leave home as early as 5 a.m. and I get home sometimes as late as 10 p.m. On a daily routine. So it means that even if I'll take my children to school, by the time we are going, they'll be sleeping because I'll wake them as early as 4 to get them ready so 5 we can leave. So by 5 that we are on our way going, probably they will be sleeping. You get it? By the time I'll come back from work, no wonder. So I don't get time to even interact with them that much. So the little time I'll get during the weekends, okay, what the language that they've been accustomed to is the one that they express themselves in most often. Do you get it?
I get
Which
you.
is in school. So in the home, if I want Kofi or if I want my son to go and take something for me, Kofi Fadie na da hone bremi, no gyina ho. Kofi Fadie na da hone bremi, no gyina ho. Just to avoid that stress, why don't you say that, Kofi, bring me that thing, or Kofi, take that thing for me? Is it wrong to express myself in that one? That one, let me come to you, Emma.
I think when you do that, okay, trying to speak English to your child because you feel that's what he is accustomed to, then you are killing culture. And then
in the first place, where is culture? Because even in our schools, we've killed the culture itself.
Oh, you see, if you come to my house, okay, I've already established that I live with just my mom. But when my brothers come around, when we are talking to our mom, we speak our language. But when I come to speak to my brothers, then I tend to speak Chi. Then my mom will blast us that we are down for, like, say it in our language. We are down for, why are you speaking this? Then she will blast us. Then we would then try to change. But if you take the case of my nieces and just nieces, because they are all girls, right from when they are born, they stay with their grandmother, and she speaks that with them. So before they even go to school, they are speaking English, and it's not because they can write it.
They can write, but they can
So
speak
if
it.
it's the aim that you want to promote what they've been taught at school, then your aim is not being achieved. Because I also sat in a class with a girl who could speak impeccable English, but she couldn't write.
You said she could speak. She could speak
impeccable.
Cash.
But she couldn't write.
Please let me get a pen. I want to write that one. I saw that. All right, so continue.
So I think if that's we should look at the advantages of whatever we are doing, so that if we want to help our children speak better, then that is what the school is meant for. And let's not push our own aside and accept a foreign one.
Could there also be a reason that they themselves probably don't even understand their language? For example, I will use myself as an example. I'm a Krobo. I was born in an Achim land. So all my life, that is where I've lived. I can count the number of times I've stayed in my hometown. So I've been in a foreign land for a long time. If I don't tell you I'm a Krobo, you may not even know. When I'm speaking to you, you think I'm an Ashanti or I'm an Achim. So probably, how then do I speak that with my children?
Simon, so I am a victim to this. I am 100% born. Bendim bedidan. I'm not very, very conversant with the language just because I didn't live there.
Yeah.
Because my parents resided in Accra. At a point in time, even my tree that I was conversant with, I was speaking the inclined tree. Me pese me fan kasa. But me pese me neno e kasa.
Befame kasa.
Me di me mpa ebo to erade ni ase. I was saying all those things until I went to SHS in Sunyani, which is close to, like, more or less where I am from. Then they started correcting me
with the tree.
I was saying nyama things
nyoma
instead of nyoma. They corrected me with time. And this one, you can't 100% blame my parents because of where they lived.
Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, there's a common language across.
Mhm.
At least if you live in a Ga community,
At
speak
least
Ga.
you can speak Ga.
At least even in the Ga land, we have a lot of tree.
Mhm.
Our problem is not with your native language,
Okay.
but
At least a local language.
a local language in your vicinity. Me have planned say menkwala no hausa kwa na ubesua.
What would that do for me?
Simon, in terms of to do away with the stress of nkwala ne nti ase nia.
Mhm.
Before the child went to school, not too fear.
Mhm.
The child went to school at some age,
Mhm.
let's say 3. And
No, they say class 6 months. So pre-crèche is even they've even brought intro. So
Yes.
at as early as 6 months, the child is in school.
Yes,
Daycare.
because of
Daycare.
career and the likes, career seeking for the job we do. That's very true. But you see, that's where there's one thing that is also dying off. The family support
Mhm.
is also dying off because some married couples, when the child comes in, the mother to either of the couple comes to help with the child and those things. So
Mhm.
there's someone there, or a younger sister comes in to help and those things. We should try and not shy away from our local dialect.
Mhm.
Even if the child speaks English at school, or if you're in country, on TSA, my church, we are in the tree assembly. We have English assembly, we have tree assembly.
Yeah.
I teach in tree.
Mhm.
I have some children in the church
Mhm.
saying that Teacher Ben, we don't understand. I said it's not my fault. I can't speak English here
Mhm.
because we have English assembly and your parents are in Dankwa. So if you don't understand, it's not my fault. Maybe the later I'll do is that I'll chip in some way, somehow.
So
But-
some way somehow you are still bringing
No,
the
you
English.
see, you can't 100% speak the tree.
Why can't you 100% speak the tree?
That is one challenge. How many of us can read tree?
It is not about reading.
No. I'm just asking.
Yes.
You know that the whites,
Mhm.
so-called whites,
Mhm.
it's not all of them who can write.
It is not all of them who even speak English.
No, I'm talking of English land.
Yes.
It's not all of. So when we talk of literacy,
Mhm.
being literate, it doesn't mean you can speak.
You have to
You can be able
and
to
write.
read and write.
Yeah.
So the so-called whites who speak English as their native language, not all of them can read and write.
Mhm.
So I am coming from the perspective that even if I know how to read tree,
Yeah.
I'm not that good. How did I do that? I did it on my own.
Mhm.
I never learned tree in school.
Yeah.
I did Gan on God. I did French.
Mhm.
These are the languages I did. But if parents can take it upon themselves to at least local language, who they fear the only with time because that's the first environment they grow in.
Okay.
That's the first so you have no excuse. But oh my baby, you look beautiful. Oh my baby.
And
I
so
know.
even before Kolane be background,
Yeah,
na
can't
cover.
and the subconsciousness of the baby is active
So
even at birth.
the question is, what is the benefit? What do I gain from all these things? Trying to teach my children local language. Probably I'm praying and hoping that my child will grow to become a prominent person in society who will be engaging the international world where enyafe na oko kan brof tribia and what I say. So the child have to be socialized with the English so that by the time he or she gets to that state, obetimi arata brofo. Ade I say obetimi aka saa ba kono kind of first.
Impeccable.
Incapable.
Impeccable. Well, no one could school nebu edia. School fees maybe the loan
Impeccable English. So, Emma, what do you think is the benefit of some of these things?
So, like I mentioned earlier, speaking your language actually is a form of transmitting culture.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get to that international level or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot trace yourself back, then I think there is a gap somewhere.
Benifobu baby say ure fi ukrom hene chinya o yira odwebo ase. You understand? To it men kan brofu bia o tiase.
Worshipful.
All right. Yeah, having interesting conversations at time. All right. So Ben, let me come to you on this one. Comparing parenting in the late 80s and 90s.
Please, I wasn't born in the 80s in Timpacho Ephraim.
Okay, in the 90s, the ones you experienced and the ones you are seeing now. What do you think has changed?
It boils down to the discipline aspect, which and also the cultural transitions. For me, I'm learning about culture most often than not when I go to weddings, funerals, and those things. I pay key attention to some of these things. That's where I learned them from. Because in my languages, I did Dagare when I was in Wa from 99 to 2005. And when I came to Accra 2005, I was doing Gan. Gan, they just omope. Omope, omo go bento nom the same because unfortunately I was living in like it's not estate, but I say Zongo estate bisa incline phone sheda ni ho. So it didn't help me.
We say now estate Zongo.
Baby I'm wanna still.
Yes, estate Zongo because o share estate na ebemo na ebemo kakra. But momo side no akwa say yeah.
So I think the location also counts because when it comes to like ye di agro boom, see agro ni nyina kwa TV games and a mobile phone because titimbrem alikoto chaskele na stay and a whole chale
udi agro we banku
police go soldier camp and a
put him
your friend could be yeah. I'm friend 50-50. Me refi chempe.
Yes, chempe.
And now ko ye chempe. Ya do be court.
But I mean not the me de you put him. Put him no. Say mi kura ma de ni say. No tetemia e be uni kura wa. Ama tetewa na me de me sabe boss to put him. Enti say me bona John sem na to form a me dia.
That's all.
But say we like me I'm tough from there. Wafa. And those were the things that were
yes.
Because and those times I remember you go school to me no mean third year, you know. You said those times, you know. Your third year na you knew a plate him. You had the good rubber.
Yeah.
Na ya chechere no aka
no. Yeah.
Enti me tetewa what toy na ya de amount you say si echiche was our white rubber anymore. No more mutual, no muntimi more anoponi ye. Into Ujia. Now, wow, titan. Said the bear or cat one. Now, answer yes. It's Mr. Dua time I wore titan no. I put him. You may put him near the ho. It's a loss at the hoa at once now, memfa. Because semi fat once now, who's waiting me out buffing me some out to form my auntie. China the honey in age and honor him now.
Nipa boni
si me ye what na ma fa eno me fa na ma ye ni sei no jino na ahwe me na me ko
na se we de beboa wo na de friend chimpe no te se we nya aduane no me hu na chimpe
yeah chim 50-50
de be chimpe pepe nti na me se guy bi wo hu ono ne de no yanka nchen se chimpe wo no odidi a on sheda enwe ne nam ene ni kosia protein part no on sheda nye to di aduane na eka yi 90 odi wie na guy ni be pio si chimpe
we didn't fancy that.
Oh, but you see those were the games that kept us together. Those were the games that Emma in childhood yet there.
Yeah.
Pilolo eshebona se pilolo eshebona se
bakubi na I think my middle class she was doing it almost nase na omo de sansan den eno no na minim ni din ba na ya agro bi ya ta wechi
yes me makai me who's agro
ya de yi bi betu wechi
mokoto ho na obi da machi a
na okita de bi nto de tu wechi na okwa na obesi usu a wechi beji divine healing.
But all these games, why are we not seeing them today? is it because of the kind of parents that we are having today? Uncle Ben.
Oh, it's the environment. You can't blame the parents' environment. Who say baby out here? Yanfani say Juma or Yekra, no say we call 5 or about 10. How would they? Maybe Obi will feel bit me monitor they are fine. And majority of us are living in estates. See, I ura them na ni aloke pono.
Yeah.
Umpie. Ura them na ni aloke pono. Umpie. So that's exposure to those things, no. And you can't 100% blame parents. This one day I can't fault parents 100%. But sometimes that's openness, it helps them to bond well. And burn calories. Share nkola on my balance where they check it. Your small guy be waya sorry. Through me kapa. He's different from the one I gave the example. There's no way say obeka chem say the fat content be roda. Or burn calories they be otimi free from. Yenyansha sorry asia. When you elders in nkonya no. We free na wakosi we so. Na wabot time na no we free na wakosi next one so na wo pillar bi wo. No we free na wasum no sani say ya. So it's all part of the fun of it. But these ones you can't 100% blame parents. But parents should find time. Maybe another topic for another day. Find time with their kids. Because a lot of issues that are going on with the children, especially when it comes to sexual abuse. Because parents don't have time for their kids. A topic for another day. And the Damakuma Sopa. Pedophiles. You know, parents should just have time so that they can play with their kids. Maybe you can just be walking like a horse. Now, Kolaniti Wechi. Now, call Hono. Mo yesay na. At least it's part of the fun. Hide and seek, and seek and hide. Those then elder Philip or Oya, so also ne girls no nyomoye. Or be juma, or moti say, or frijume mu befi, or moti so bape no makotite. To what bet you first. And say, or more do be mirefi. It's fun. It's part of it. Inti parents, but made their language, you know. And not they have no excuse.
I also think that we live in a society that is sort of making us so conscious of ourselves. We always want to be diplomatic in everything we do. And to say, I don't want to PS5, no more of it. Or more person what them na bibi. And as I say, obedi agro na ni ho abofin die. There be.
I was telling someone that minyayanka.
Yeah, I was the one, Mekai. I think it was last week.
But all those things, no, I will probably I
think we are being overprotective. So let's just balance the equation. We are being overprotective. Makasa saying when your last born. Or cool school money he mechiriba na de ne koe mechiriba no be fi o say ordinance she mechiriba no ne nsa say ne elderly sister no waso ne nsemu say na bisanse anadent na yes o say meyera when you so
sometimes I think it has to do with the kind of parent you also have, because me at a very young age na me ko market ekotwade. That was from upper primary. Me was JHS no. You were shy man. It miss me ko amasama. Me di dwam de komo. Me ko aba. Me nya SHS obi amfami anko di prospectus. Me na me ko di me prospectus. That time me atu kwan. Nti me ko ye bibia inquiries me friend. Ochem say skada se me nko fa made. Miss Happiness Day that time na Ashaman to Krobo girls. Me ko fa Miss Akuchi aye. Then I hear reporting and I'm Mr. Kame. So being responsible for myself, dear, it's not really a problem to me at all. So sometimes it has to do with the parents, and yeah.
Wakame Maria Hosem. Meko UCC. Meko na mekoye.
Meso sa.
Nenya me adom meko no na mekura ayi sa traveling baggy. Ena kura fiero aso ya me baako. Kasiya ne baako na jame bibia wo. Lucky. He said those times no say you be school for sana freshers nearby. Na taxi drivers no na omo exploit you from gate. So in UCC from gate to Valco. No the work of far old site. No the work of nin number be about no abeji uska boze. Nti the SRC here in say me provide the bus. And from Accra no the bus ni be see Mori Tobuto.
Okay.
Nti car ni du ho no ma. Ka bi ebedo bia no ma bisa. UCC student wom. So UCC student ma na we si akọ the SRC bus no. Ti aja me du. Me nkwa na me ko. You do na mko join the SRC bus ni mi ni amegum. Say said your man handle me bag ni na. Fiora ye
fire.
Oh Charlie. Nami couscous nyame ado me de ni amakoye pa. Sadi miensa.
That's right.
Macre sa geisha macre tiantien be 2 se 3.
That's right.
Oh Charlie.
And you DB.
Oh yeah. Awe na you do valco. Na me ko valco. You do valco yi na me nyina gu ho. Yi mi fiora esi ho no ma oh na macre na edikan o. Afena me niswa me who are you me who because me kwa na menam me nko Cape Coast da me nim UCC but ne nyina mu no where as a share but say you know parents na abandon can if the child is going to school the school is like 2 minutes walk from the where they are say onika akra na or taxi a ebefa akwala no every day dey go school distance near 2 minutes from baby omutino.
2 minutes Andrew. I know of a school at the area numho. I say residential kakra. Mimbo school nidi. Now they have a gated community. Just a walking distance, less than 50 meters. But the parents will let the child ride in a car. Minka say sit in a car. I don't know your car ye sim. And your car, your team, and your car, your dim.
As it was 7 the car, I say, oh, no, sick him.
One is sim. And you see that I think ABI is the luxury of it. But that short distance, at least, on burning some calories. Not necessarily that, but on walking, on taking. Short distance, oh.
Oh, but say the provision is there, so.
It's not about the provision is there. But let the child do some things on his because it's a short distance and it's risky.
No, but you can't determine the risk of because even from your entrance to your room, there can be
chairman
I think it also helps to socialize the child because so bano nantin na fufua. Oh no, me bon komo ni ni amavisa.
Enti komo no ntimi amon komo nyina o school.
Me say Simon, me say there was this situation. Na man be fa me ene ne ma no ni akọ baby. Na one day when to me amba, na am see o me den kwala be kofi asa na me ma kofi. Ni e fa troski. Me nka se trotro na omo nti ase. Ye team no Trotro yetimwa na yesim.
It depends on the nature of the trotro.
Especially
the trotro kochokone about the name.
Osu trotro. Na no meto na osu trotro bi mu obi bi umbrella. Then so to. Obi otika.
Nipa crowd you lucky no umbrella. He asemi amaken enye agoro so. Sa time na me otimi okofo idua. Ena na me ba e ba be gig bi ewo abadi mu ho baby ti me ba no satan kwa na minim no mchem so se mi si amasaman a benya a hoka straight. I don't have to go to circle before ti mi si amasaman sa baby a
market ne
o se sro kakra bi na se station bi ho sa na me kotna kem se me de minyam tena chiri tu kakra bi na nsu start here. In fact, since you no boa,
kasebo,
me take him. Then you bring me. Now that I made na mama desta. So me find chocolate to corona. Na fe me the desta na chocolate ma afo aye travel me saw me oh. I fe lady beauty was we the mama man into affair why na.
So you see, asema na meka no. Nti efa troski no. Ye kona na me ma mate in this car. Penyu no wom no. Or I think by then no JHS. Uncle Ben, why have you paid the mates? He has not had that experience before.
Yes.
Nti like sometimes
So what can be done about this one is that I think you can give them the luxury, but then sometimes
That is what we are trying to say.
expose them to some of these things so that they can
appreciate life.
I know one man. I don't want to mention his name. He's popular. He says that in a bit of training his children in some of these things, every of their long vacations, he takes them to where he was.
Yeah.
He take the children there, leave them there to enjoy the place.
Yes.
So that they can also have a feel. This first time I'm called, they were asking, "Hey, Daddy, so you were drinking from this river, and when you took them there, regardless of how much he has now, you will drink from that river because the people there, that is what they are drinking from."
Not dying.
And they are not dying.
Your,
and so
your friend is a natural vaccine. Your body will be accustomed to it. In Tebanisa, won't tie nyare basa. Won't tie nyare basa into a bomb.
And so I think that some of these things can also be incorporated into, but sometimes too, I think that some of these parents don't grow to the point of becoming parents when they become parents. One could be some of them who are not ready to have children.
Mm-hmm.
But then even out of wedlock, they give birth.
Yeah.
Some of them at the age of 18, 19, 20, they've given birth. So some of them some of these things can be causes. And sometimes too, I think societal pressure bring forth parents when parents are not ready to be parents. For example, Maware. The moment society expects you to give birth. Meanwhile, probably the fact that Waware does not mean that you are ready to become a parent.
Ana edan pacho dentina ya worry.
Ade awon kwenti ne worry.
Or say mo mama sin lori sempo anu anu.
Enti say awon kwenti ne worry. What happened to people who get married?
It's just on a lighter side.
Yeah,
but I'm playing the devil's advocate.
No, but do you know there are people like that?
Yes.
Sometimes the pressures of society. Tinipa ni nye na adre kura so obewo. Na wako. Ebi oware ya na ebi a unforeseen circumstances binti ebi kura we lusu na juma. Ntini amemo abaye den kakra man. Society want the person to give birth. Unfortunately, nipa no so na eja ne tedu aka okowe wa triplet. And sometimes some of these frustrations even cause parents to act in a way and say somewhat in patcho. If ubia waria, munja why? Leave them for them to have time to do whatever they want to do. In fact, there are some people, they will get married and live alone and they will never give birth and they will die. They won't change anything.
Yeah.
Children are a blessing from God and they are gifts from God.
God's property.
Nyame fama wa. Men force nipa ne se chenchena onko famra. You get it?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes society in so kaunema today we are having bad parents.
That's true.
And sometimes too, especially mana abana and saying some of them because of who's a mechanic say too much of education and I say they think that they don't need a man for anything. So onama no so peba no akọ baako na single parenting. Sometimes some of these things also affects the children.
That's true.
There are some people who are single parents not by choice. Sometimes by circumstance. Sometimes by situations they can't control. But there are some by choice.
In this dispensation, they are super. And if they will go and get a sperm donor. Now they do that. Sometimes even they want to keep their body.
Yeah.
So they do surrogacy.
Yeah.
Now oma contract will be na sperm donor. No me yomo egg no.
Egg no.
Na omu yome tuya sperm donor ne kanoma surrogates mother no so no yaman is kana. Yes. And I can test you. Uko school ane boy din wo hu.
Umachoko school eh.
Yen sha say free preschool.
Pachema go preschool.
Oh sir. But so call crèche. One call crèche. KG. Okay. KG1. Maybe oko nursery. Omo no mo call preschool, call crèche, call nursery, and some no ba KG.
Man call nursery.
Into KG in the school ben.
Blessed Clementina.
See, Blessed Day.
Oh,
I'm pacho. Remember because some names of some schools can let you fail your exams. And be maybe school na e ben cemetery, me SHS na e ben cemetery. Oh, Blessed Day. Clement, wundi ndo me, I bet me na boss said. But on a JHS way.
Me we one.
Okay. If you want to questions by.
Vim.
We young can
Togo girls or senior sisters name Wesley girls.
I'm saying Canadian. We
makoka okay.
Can be brave.
Achoman can ye cry.
All right, so it has been a fruitful discussion on parenting today, and I believe that probably you've learned a thing or two on today's episode. We will come your way some other time. Stick and stay with us, depending on the platform you are watching us from. If it is Facebook, comment, like, share, and follow the page. If it is YouTube, comment, like, share, and subscribe. And turn on the post notification so that when we release a new video, you get the first notification. Midin, yasi yankatri. Nti midin a meteswo eye bra Kwaku. Some sign out to trim so ma.
Yamen kan ho no shelding. Se kojo shelding.
Ebeba. Midin a meteswo ene bra Kwaku Simon aha eye yinti no.
Ye kan say midin a mejeso.
Enye say no
edin no nte so enya akonya. Say din ye fra wa na ojeso. Ti me fra Kwaku Simon na wo betwa weni.
Abusuafo ene de bye bye wa nyame ya do ba. Ye be hia. Bye bye.